Today's One Shot is brought to you by Nexus, digitalcomics.com. On this week's One Shot, the fans finally get what they asked for. Or did they? The Mass Effect 3 Extended Cut. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. So, Mass Effect 3, new endings are out, been out for about a week. There's still controversy. So if you're into games, you don't even have to be into the Mass Effect 3. If you were into games at all, you probably heard about the Mass Effect 3 controversy where people were outraged that it ended so abruptly, and a lot of questions were raised, and a nerd kind roared and said, "Hey, what about all the ships that got stranded on planet Earth? Are they doomed to die because they'll use up the resources? Or how about Liara? What happens to her? What about the curing the genophage or not curing the genophage? We don't see it. Are we just supposed to use our imaginations?" And that was a little hard on the fans for being so upset with the ending, because as I said in the review, it actually ended. At least it ended. It wasn't like a Sopranos thing where it just kind of cut to black and you're done. But I can understand that it felt that way to some people. And of course, I'd love to have more explanation. A good story has a good ending, and it's not just kind of like, what happened? I don't know. What do you think? I mean, that's the way it shouldn't be. It should be, hey, this character did this and whatever. And if you want to leave, the audience with a question, like a political question, or, what is life really worth, or what is the meaning of life, or whatever, that's fine. Those kind of questions you can't really answer, so that's fine. But this one is like, okay, so Joker, he got off the ship, and he's got, Liara with him or whatever. They're stranded on some world that it doesn't even look like. I mean, it looks like they're out in the jungle or something. I don't see any signs of civilization. So what happens? Are they just meant to like repopulate, and will they ever get back home, or yada yada. So I can understand people being a little upset because we've invested 3 huge games into this world. If you follow Mass Effect like me, I love Mass Effect. I count it as probably my favorite game at this point, my favorite franchise. Not to say that it's perfect, but anyway, regardless. So they came out with new endings after the uproar from the fans. Bioware and EA, the makers of the game, stated that they're not going to change the ending. They would just elaborate to help fans, and I think they're right in doing that. I don't think that when you read a book and you don't quite like the ending, you don't write the author, or yell at the author and tell him to rewrite the last chapter or something. That's ridiculous. But a little bit more explanation can't be a bad thing. So we finally got that, and just like EA and Bioware said, it did not change things. It just elaborated. So there was actually one change. There's an additional ending. So now you can choose 4 endings. And I guess going to be some spoilers here. So spoiler alert. The first ending was, of course, to eradicate any of the synthetic life. The second ending would be to control synthetic life and to use the Reapers to your own will, bend them to your own will, much as the Elusive Man was trying to do. The third would be to merge the two permanently, so all organic life and synthetic life now is connected, which is supposedly the end-all be-all of evolution. If you listen to little Twerp, the little kid, that's the one thing I wish they had changed, and they obviously didn't, and probably couldn't, because it's so whatever. That stupid kid, I don't like that personally. Yeah, space baby, star child, whatever the hell. Anyway, and the fourth ending is to literally shoot the Star Kid, which that's what I'd want to do, but it just kind of ends abruptly, and you have no satisfaction whatsoever. Well, you get a little bit of a cutscene with Liara, like warning future civilizations. So, okay, if you are, you've heard this, you've played Mass Effect, maybe you haven't played the endings yet. Here's the thing. Again, it does not add anything new. All it does is kind of elaborate. It gives you a little bit of satisfaction because you see, like, if you cured the genophage, you see, the Krogans with a little baby, or, a little kid walking around or whatever. So that whatever. You get a little flash, cut scene of all the people that sacrificed. Like, if you didn't save Morden and whatever, anybody who died, they'll have a little black and white little montage thing, and then it ends with your crew putting a plaque of Shepard on there, onto this monument thing in the ship. You know that, yeah, you've seen it. It's by the elevator when you go into the crew deck. There's this monument, so now she becomes part of it along with Anderson. So it really doesn't add any weight to it. So here's my question, right? Was it worth it? A lot of people are talking about this. You can go on to GameSpot.com, and a lot of people, they had their reviewers or whatever talk about this, and I agree with some of them in that. As a fan, I was happy that they did it. I mean, props to them, to BioWare, for actually going the extra mile. I mean, this was no small feat. I mean, even though they had kind of these stupid, like still frame cutscene things, it still took a lot of effort to give us, what we wanted, and give us more. So I appreciate that. I really do. And that it was free is amazing. But the fact that it didn't change anything, it kind of makes me feel like I wish they would have just put that effort into a new game. And I don't know if there's going to be further Mass Effect. It would seem retarded for them not to continue with the series. But, it's always been kind of, this is the third one, this is the last one. So, but, they can use that world again. They can, do another character, just not have Shepard, whatever. I think it would be a huge misstep and very sad if they didn't do more. But I would rather them have put that effort into some other, game, or use that time. They probably spent a lot of money. Employees aren't free. They don't work for nothing, even if the people are upset about it, So it's a double-edged thing. Like, you kind of got what you wanted. I mean, you asked for it. They gave you more explanation, but they still left, the biggest plot holes. Like, people are worried about, oh, people got stranded, around the planet, so what happened to them? Did they use up the resources, blah, blah. You don't get any of that. You don't get any of that, kind of. They did redo some scenes, like, Joker is freaking out on the controls and trying to outrun the, the radius of the blast or whatever. And we're like, what? Why? Why would he just strand? Where was it? How did he get there? Blah, blah. So they do have another scene in there that explains it, and then they redid that frantic scene to be less frantic, which is weird. A little interesting that they did that, but they have a little conversation with Garrus saying, "Hey, we must go. I know we love Shepard, but we must go," kind of thing. So they do try to explain it. Now, how many times have I wished that, like Sopranos, again, I'm bringing that up because it ended so horribly, or like Deadwood. Deadwood also had like a really hasty conclusion. How many times have I wished that there was one more episode that explained things? So that's kind of what we got in these extended cut. So I do appreciate it, but I'm just not so sure it was worth the effort. Well, I can't say that. Again, it's just really props to BioWare and EA for taking that on. So I do appreciate it. But yeah, let's be take a little bit more time before we, go after a company for ending it the way that they wanted to end it. Possibly they ran out of funding. Possibly that's why they didn't have more story. Maybe they were trying to get it on shelves earlier, which, a lot of people are condemning them of that, being interested in the almighty dollar rather than entertainment and conclusion. Possibly, but we don't know. It could have just been like, hey, this is kind of, maybe this is kind of an eloquent way where we just give them a morsel. We have the last breath of Shepard in some of the endings, some not. And we just kind of leave it to their own imagination so that the story doesn't die. That is a possibility. That is a valid way to end a story. Just not my preferred way, and obviously not most of yours preferred way. So, again, please, even if you're upset with the new endings, don't hate BioWare or EA for this. They did a great job. They went above and beyond to try to satisfy people without, trying to compromise their integrity and change the story. So I really do hand it to them. Any thoughts or comments, please let me know. I'd love to answer them, to respond to them. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next adventure. I really hope that they continue with this world. Dragon Age and, whatever, it's just not enough. BioWare does a lot of stuff, but Mass Effect was my favorite, and I think a lot of yours as well. So, all right, I think that does it for One Shots. Check out next week. I think I'm going to do some more music next week. All right, guys. See you later.